A young man named Musa was a barber with 6 fingers on each hand. Born with this unusual trait, Musa grew up facing the town's mix of curiosity and superstition. Many whispered that his fingers meant he could bring good fortune, while others claimed it would bring bad luck. From a young age, Musa had practiced cutting hair with his 6-fingered hands, showing a natural talent that far surpassed others in the town. Eventually, he saved enough money to open his own barbershop, painting it in bright yellow and green to catch the eye of the passers-by. Musa hoped the people of Bakori would give him a chance, trusting in his skill rather than fearing his appearance. Initially, the villagers kept their distance, reluctant to be the first to step into his shop. But slowly, a few brave young men, curious and not as easily scared by old tales, began visiting Musa. Each customer left his chair satisfied, praising his skill. He knew how to make young guys look good and old men look young. Word spread, and little by little, Musa's shop began filling with people from all around Bakori. Musa's dream was becoming a reality, and he finally felt accepted. But not everyone was pleased with Musa's success. Just a few shops down the road, Tunde, another barber, had noticed Musa's growing popularity. Tunde was known for his basic no-frills haircuts that were functional but lacked the style and precision that Musa offered. As more of Tunde's regulars started going to Musa's shop, he grew bitter and resentful, seeing his income dwindle with each passing week. Desperate to keep his business alive, Tunde began spreading rumors. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the market stalls and cast long shadows over the town, he gathered a small crowd outside his shop. In hushed tones, he spoke of Musa's fingers. "Did you know that Musa's 6th finger isn't natural?" he asked, looking around with a serious expression. "They say his family made a pact with spirits. Anyone who sits in his chair risks carrying a curse." The rumor spread like wildfire. Soon, whispers of Musa's cursed hands echoed through the market, weaving into everyday conversation. People who had once trusted Musa began avoiding his shop, afraid of what might happen if they let him touch their hair. Musa noticed the sudden change, his once bustling shop now nearly empty. Desperate to understand, he asked his loyal customers what had changed. One of them, a young man named Femi, looked at him with pity and said, "Tunde told everyone your extra fingers were a sign of dark magic. Some folks are afraid to come here now." Heartbroken and frustrated, Musa tried to confront Tunde, but Tunde feigned innocence, saying he was only sharing what everyone already suspected. Angry yet powerless, Musa returned to his shop, feeling defeated. Day by day he waited, hoping the rumors would fade. But Tunde continued his smear campaign, telling villagers that anyone who got a haircut from Musa would fall ill or suffer misfortune. Then one afternoon, as Musa sat alone in his shop, a young boy named Kumi rushed in, his face wild with desperation. "Musa, help me!" he cried, clutching his shaggy hair. "My uncle's wedding is tomorrow, and no one else in town can give me the style I want." Though Musa was hesitant, he agreed, taking extra care as he trimmed Kumi's hair, pouring his heart into each snip. By the time he finished, Kumi's head was neatly styled and his face shone with satisfaction. Despite the rumors, Kumi spread the word of Musa's talent, telling everyone how his hair was the best it had ever looked. A few other young men, willing to defy the superstition, decided to give Musa a chance, each one impressed by the results. Slowly, Musa's reputation began to recover, and more people started coming back to his shop. But Tunde was not finished. He devised one final, underhanded plan. One evening, after secretly visiting Musa for a haircut, Tunde claimed to have fallen ill. Wrapping himself in blankets, he gathered people around him, feigning weakness and saying he felt cursed. "It was Musa," he groaned dramatically. "Ever since he touched me, I felt ill. His fingers truly are cursed." The people were horrified, convinced that Musa's hands brought misfortune. Within days, Musa's business was reduced to nothing, and he was on the verge of closing his shop. As he packed his tools, preparing to leave Bakori, an unexpected knock came on his door. It was Kumi's mother with her son by her side. "Musa," she began, her voice firm, "you have done nothing but show kindness to this town. My son came to you because he believed in you, and you did not disappoint him. I believe in you too." Her words sparked something in Musa. Determined not to let Tunde ruin his life, he decided to expose the truth. The next day, Musa confronted Tunde in front of the entire town. Calmly, he shared the story of how Tunde had once come to him for a haircut, only to spread rumors and fake an illness. Some people were skeptical, but then Kumi and his mother stepped forward. They described how Musa had been the only barber to help them in their time of need, reminding everyone of his kindness. Seeing the villagers' doubt growing, Tunde, cornered and panicked, lashed out. "You're all fools," he shouted. "Can't you see? A man with 6 fingers is unnatural." But Musa, with calm dignity, replied, "What is truly unnatural is the willingness to spread lies and harm a neighbor out of jealousy. I may have 6 fingers, but they are hands of skill, not curses." With Kumi's mother and other villagers standing beside him, Musa's words resonated deeply. Realizing the truth, the townspeople turned on Tunde, ashamed of their misplaced fear and anger. After Tunde's lies got exposed to the townspeople, a tense silence fell over the gathering. The villagers exchanged uneasy glances, torn between their shame for having believed Tunde's rumors and their relief that the truth had finally come to light. Tunde stood there, his head hung low, unable to meet the gaze of those he had deceived. He had expected Musa to retaliate, to demand justice or retribution. But instead, Musa did something no one anticipated. "I forgive you, Tunde," Musa said softly, his voice filled with compassion rather than anger. "Holding on to resentment only causes more harm. If you're willing, I'd like you to work alongside me here, as an apprentice. Let's build something good for this town together." The townspeople gasped, stunned by Musa's unexpected offer. Forgiveness was rare in Bakori, especially for acts as damaging as Tunde's deceit. But Musa's words were sincere, and his kindness reached even the hardest hearts among the crowd. For the first time in years, Tunde felt seen, not as a rival or a threat, but as a human being who could still change. With a heavy heart, Tunde accepted the offer. He could barely speak, overcome by guilt, yet he managed to whisper, "Thank you, Musa. I don't deserve this, but I promise I'll make it right." From that day forward, Tunde started working with Musa in the small but brightly coloured shop on the edge of town. At first, he fumbled with the tools and struggled to keep up with Musa's precision and skill, but Musa was patient, guiding him gently and encouraging him every step of the way. As Tunde practiced, he noticed the little things Musa did, how he greeted each customer by name, how he listened to their stories, and how he would offer a comforting word or a wise piece of advice when they needed it most. It didn't take long for Tunde to realize that barbering wasn't just about cutting hair. It was about building trust and showing kindness. Each snip of the scissors, each sweep of the razor, was an opportunity to connect with people and leave them feeling seen and valued. The barbershop became more than just a place of business. It became a sanctuary where people from all walks of life felt welcome. Soon, the townsfolk began gathering at Musa's shop, not only for haircuts, but to share their stories, to laugh, to debate, and to listen. Musa encouraged open discussions on difficult topics: trust, forgiveness, and the dangers of gossip. He reminded them of how easy it had been for one rumor to nearly ruin a man's livelihood, and how fear could blind them to someone's true character. He challenged them to look beyond appearances and to consider the consequences of their words and actions. Gradually, Musa's barbershop became known as a community hub for justice and reconciliation. People who had grudges or misunderstandings with each other would come to the shop, knowing that Musa's calm and fair presence would help them find common ground. Neighbors who had feuded for years found themselves talking and, eventually, forgiving each other. The shop began to represent the values of unity, trust, and mutual respect that Bakori had once overlooked in its fear and prejudice.